This image really sums up all the problems I have with this cartoon. To the crowded composition of 12 characters on the image, to the overuse of reds and pinks with the occasional white and black sprinkled in there, and character designs with more focus on the hair than the rest of the bodies. Yes, today we are going to be talking about Hazbin Hotel, or as I would like to call it, Heathen Headache. For those of you who don't know what Hazbin Hotel is, I'll give you a really quick rundown. So the story revolves around Charlie, the daughter of Lucifer, and she is Princess of Hell, has to deal with a kind of crisis going on in Hell, an overpopulation problem. And seeing how she really wants to help out her people, she opens up a hotel and she wants to rehabilitate demons in an attempt to please the angels and maybe they can stop killing off demons. The cartoon was made by 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑 Vivienne Medrano. It was released on October 28th, 2019. Apparently, this has been a project been going on for about 5+ years, and it really does show since a lot of her videos on her YouTube channel are mostly focused on her characters, speed draws, and production videos. So, what do I think about this cartoon? Well, it was well made. The voice acting was well done. Nobody really phoned their lines in. And it was very clear that a lot of effort was put into the animation, the flow, and general production of this cartoon. Now the real question is, did I like this? No. I have a couple of problems with this 30-minute animation pilot. The character design is something I would have found on the front page of DeviantArt back in 2007. The general flow of storytelling is lacking, and the dialogue came off more simple and sometimes childish based on the jokes it made. And not to say that adult cartoons can't have little dirty jokes here and there. Even with 3 writers on board, it came off like a bunch of edgy teens from the local mall were in charge of writing. The series wants to have a story, but it gets so distracted with character antics and throws exposition at your face, you don't even know what you've watched. Yes, I do know that I am a little bit late on making this review, but I wanted to let the series kind of boil in the pot a little bit. And it just so happened that A24, a film production company, actually picked up Hazbin Hotel. Granted, I think other series would have been better to be picked up, but hey, I'm not A24, I don't work there. The main issues I have with Hazbin Hotel is the storytelling and visual elements. Even though people have praised Hazbin Hotel for having really great visuals, to me it was very, very busy, and it wasn't really that enjoyable to watch a screen full of red shades for 30 minutes. And before I get the obligatory comments such as, "You're just a 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑 you're just jealous of 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑 Where's your finished animation, huh? I'm not here to make enemies with 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑 here to judge Viv as an artist and her work. I'd like to offer something called constructive criticism. If you don't know what that means, it basically means you're offering to help. If you like Hazbin Hotel as it is, I can't take that enjoyment away from you. This video is basically just going to point out things I didn't like about the cartoon that really affected my enjoyment of it. Now let's dive into this hot topic bin. The pacing of this cartoon is very interesting, to say the least. It lacks a formula. The cartoon sort of lacks that usual 3-act structure that we come to expect from comedy shows and cartoons. And I'm not an expert on writing anything, dude. I just like to draw. Really, I've just felt like this cartoon had a bit of a problem staying focused. Just concentrate on one plot, the hotel. The show's name is Hazbin Hotel, therefore you need to establish the importance of this hotel. The hotel needs to be a major driving point for all the characters. Yes, I am 110% fully aware that this is a pilot, even though it went over the 11 minutes, and it's 30 minutes, therefore 2 episodes, or if you really want to work the math, it's 4 pilots. But hey, we're not going to talk about schematics or statistics or whatever other math term I can't even think of. There's very little sense of storytelling and a flow. For example, the main characters aren't shown until the last 10 minutes of the episode, which is a tad weird for a comedy show because usually comedy shows will show their main cast together at the very beginning of each episode. Yes, I know it's a pilot. We, the audience, need to know who we're actually going to be following throughout this episode. Who are these characters? What are their personalities, bouncing off of each other? Why are they friends? What's this kinship or connection that they have as friends? How do they joke around with each other? How do they know they're being serious? These characters feel like complete strangers to each other. I never felt like they were really friends. The only ones I really thought were friends were Charlie and Vaggie, but they're girlfriends, so that's a given. This show really wanted to throw a lot of information in your face, and that's the major flaw of this whole cartoon. The writing for this show is extremely amateur-ish. It seriously comes off like a high schooler wrote these characters and the story without really thinking about what is the point of this? What is this offering? What type of story do you want to tell to the public? What type of message do you want us to have? Because as soon as you start questioning the plot, it doesn't start to make sense. I can get behind a chaotic world, but it's evident that there is some structure in this world. There are buildings, districts, roads intact, cars, cell phones, and even television. If you want hell to be this dangerous landscape that needs change, then go full Mad Max and make it look apocalyptic, like there's no rules. Make it dangerous. Add more substance to how messed up things are. We got a short montage of various places in the beginning, but it didn't really add anything in the very end. Have other characters reference the fact that hell is getting more and more uninhabitable, even for their standards. This would have been a really great character motivation for Charlie, and it would have made sense for her to look to the angels for help, seeing that how demons can't really help out hell themselves. She could have made a deal with the angels that hell can handle structure and change with her hotel as an example. If Charlie can change the mind of the angels from exterminating them, then maybe she can rule over hell. Speaking of genocide, why the hell does Charlie think that demons can even be redeemed in the first place? How did she even come to that conclusion? Did she used to know a demon that was redeemed and managed to get into heaven? I can get feeling responsible for being a leader, but how is she the only person that really cares about her people dying? How come there hasn't been any word from other leaders or overlords that have been trying to do something about this crisis? Why does all of this responsibility have to fall on Charlie? Stupid idiot girl for thinking that she could help her people. What a fucking moron! I genuinely don't get the point. If no one else cares about dying in this world, then what's the point of trying to save it? And it sounds like I'm harping really hard on the plot, but if no one cares, why should I? Okay, main characters. Sure, let's just call them that. Charlie is the combination of Ariel and Star Butterfly, and she comes off a tattoo nice in hell. You would think this cruel and douchey town of hell would have had an effect on Charlie since she was raised there, but no. At first I thought the whole nice girl act was some sort of facade she would put up. Charlie could have acted real nice around people she trusted, but was ungodly mean and shitty towards people that she didn't know. They really could have played with the whole royalty aspect of her, like acting spoiled rotten sometimes and not really being aware of how she comes off towards people. Honestly, this could have been a really good dynamic for her and Vaggie, with Vaggie being the poor yet streetwise and smart one, while Charlie is the more ditzy airheaded one with a lot of money. But no, let's just let her act like a theater child that loves Disney and singing and... Vaggie is Charlie's girlfriend, who is extremely protective of her and very loyal to her. She's honestly the only character I really honestly like throughout this whole entire thing. Apparently Vaggie is a borderline bad stereotype of Latin women, based on the fact that when she gets angry she starts spewing out her native tongue, and she emphasizes this protecting the white girl cliche. The only reason I could really think of why this backlash is kind of noticeable is because Vaggie's voice actress sounds American with no Hispanic accent present. I'll give you an example. Have you ever come across someone who has a very heavy accent in their own native language? You notice that while they're speaking English, their native tongue still followed the rules of letter pronunciation. If Vaggie had a Spanish accent, her outburst of anger in her saying, you know, Spanish curse words would make more sense because she leans back on her native tongue. Where do I even start with this alleged woke gay character? So, Angel Dust is a prostitute, a porn star, and a stripper, and also does a lot of drugs. And he's gay. Can someone say overcompensating? This character is shown to be the snarky, cold-hearted, and quote-unquote sexy guy who has tits. And look, I don't have a problem with the whole sex worker thing or him being an apparent drag queen also. What I do have a problem with is him being an unlikable douchebag to his so-called friends and lying to him also. Seriously, this dumbass decides to treat the people who are housing him like utter shit. Did I forget to mention that this guy's dialogue is 90% bad sex jokes? Because making well thought out jokes is really hard apparently. People are saying that Angel Dust is a positive gay character. I mean, 30 years ago maybe, but in this current year, no. I cannot believe the friendship that Angel Dust and Charlie have. I seriously cannot. It doesn't work with them. And before people tell me to watch the Addict music video, I did, and it added nothing to his character. You see him work as a stripper, assumably bought by a pimp. He's sad, smashes his room, dances around with Cherry Bomb, and that is it. Even after the credits sequence, Charlie tries to comfort Angel Dust when he's all gloomy and sad. And what does he do? He just tells her to go fuck off. Just flips the bird and just walks off. Wow, what a great character. What a nice gay character to follow. Yes, I do know that mean characters exist, but no. There's nothing to really like about Angel Dust. I'm kind of doubting that you spent 5 years on his character. Are you sure you didn't just write down the term he's gay and think everyone else is gonna fill in the blanks? Her name is Cherry Bomb and she likes bombs. Yeah. Alistair just gives me Onceler and Bill Cipher flashbacks. This guy had an exposition dump given by Vaggie, which was unnecessary to be honest. Would have been better if there was a sense of mystery to Big Al here. The group finding out that this guy's a big shot would have been really great. The only thing really noticeable about Alistair is that he has a radio filter setting for his voice, which is a neat gimmick, I won't lie, but that's really it for him. Okay, so I can't be here all day with all these characters, so I'm just gonna do a rapid fire round. Okay, Husk. He's an over-designed flying cat who is grumpy. He's voiced by Mick Lauer of all people, so Nifty was just there. Razzle and Dazzle, again, I didn't even know they even existed. Serpentis is okay. He delivered the only good joke in this heaping pile of images. The egg minions were actually pretty good, I won't lie. Katie Killjoy, okay, I always called her Katie Kaboom from the Animaniacs. I don't know if anybody remembers Katie Kaboom. And also, is she supposed to be a cicada? Because she always makes these weird, bug noises when she's, moving around and such. Tommy Trench, didn't stand out to me. He's voiced by Tomar, who I also like. The color palette is the equivalent to menstruation all over a porcelain toilet. It must be real fun to watch this cartoon if you have trouble telling colors apart. Just with how fast this cartoon moves and how there's no variation within color shades, it's really hard to sit through this. Now don't get me wrong, you can use a limited color palette in your cartoon to make it look stylized. That is, if you use more colors like orange or yellow, not more variation of the color red. I think the only reason why people like that Addict music video is because it showed more colors other than red. Also, big shocker, the character design isn't all that great either. The amount of little details and complex outfits to draw out would make any Korean animator want to shoot themselves. More is not better. The argument of, oh, this is just their style is sort of void to me because most cartoon characters are drawn to be simple, so it's easier to animate and not a pain in the ass. Also, they're actually easy on the eyes to look at when they're in motion. When you have simple designed characters, this allows background artists to really put more details and more stylization in the background. Another gripe I have with Viv's style is how she designs characters. They all look extremely similar. They all have a bad case of stickman syndrome. Ginormous head, skinny body, big eyes, maybe or maybe not a nose, and a stupid toothy grin that all of her characters have for some reason. Let's do an experiment. I'm going to be lighting up all the characters and making them into silhouettes. What I'm basically doing is following BAM animation silhouette technique for testing character designs. I can totally speak, trust me. If you ever need help testing out character designs or seeing if they work well visually, I highly recommend BAM animation. They are so good. I'll also recommend Ethan Becker's YouTube channel when it comes to building up your own drawing style and designing characters. Those are really good YouTube channels to follow if you're an artist. I'll leave the links below in the description. Okay, let's get back to the test. Do you notice how a lot of the characters have sharp angles and very skinny limbs? That's bad when it comes to the general balance of a design. Pointy edges are hard to keep consistent. Charlie and Vaggy's designs are okay due to their hair being smooth. Everyone else is either pointy or spiky or really thin. There needs to be a bit more variety when it comes to body parts or hell, even the general shape of the character. I use the word DeviantArt because the character design just reminds me of young artists wanting to make their OCs or original characters really special looking. Yeah, that's what I feel like when I see these character designs. I could go on, but I don't want this whole video to exceed over like an hour, so I'll be doing a separate video on not redesigning, but redrawing, because redesign sounds kind of douchey. I like to redraw characters and try to see what the person was going for with their design. Bottom line, just play with more shapes and colors with characters. The underage art allegation was basically something that was blown out of proportion with little context. But what I do agree on is her tracing over frames and not giving proper credit. But first, we really need to break down the definition of what is tracing and what is an homage. Tracing is, well, doing a trace, basically following a path and copying it. A homage is defined as showing respect towards someone or something. Now, it doesn't take a super massive genius to realize that tracing is very effortless. It is a massive problem going around in the art community. More specifically, tracing without giving proper credit. Now, a homage, on the other hand, is a lot more forgivable. You're trying to recreate something within your own skill set. You're going to be looking at a specific piece of art that showed up in Viv's demo reel from 2015. Even though this piece of art only showed up for a second, it's important to see how Viv reacted to people saying how she traced over this GIF from the music video Me 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 that was on YouTube. Now let's put the two GIFs together and see how they look side by side. At first, it doesn't really look too bad. The motion just looks very similar. Now let's overlap the original GIF with London. As you can see, the body and clothes are imitated frame by frame. You can even notice the horn is clipping in and out of the arm. Even though this was supposed to be an homage, it was clearly traced because she didn't know what to do with the horn. Now again, I don't have a problem with tracing. Tracing can be used to really help an artist out when it comes to learning about structure. Now, including traced artwork in a demo reel is somewhat controversial, but if this is true and this was only made for solely practice, I would not put anything traced in a demo reel or a portfolio. It's fine to include studies, but you shouldn't be putting anything that you're trying to pass off as your own ideas. Plus, she didn't cite credit for the GIF that she traced over, so people kinda got a little suspicious. There's also this shot from her music video Die Young, which is a proper example of a homage because she didn't trace over the footage, she just drew it in her own way. Now, people have criticized Viv, accusing her of tracing and not giving credit. She did apologize in the most passive-aggressive way ever. Let's read a little bit of her rebuttal post on Tumblr. Animation, homage, and memes exist. If you guys think I stole things when there were either a homage, which is done by every animator underneath the sun, how many people do the Akira bike slide frame by frame, or recreate scenes from movies or animes and cartoons, intentionally to make a nod to something that inspired them, or it was practiced for fun as a meme. Like how many people have recreated the caramel dancing for fun? Get the fuck over yourselves with this trace animation bullshit. Grow up. If you think I steal animation because of a handful of shots within my multitude of work that were either a meme, a practice, or a homage, you will never understand animation with that attitude. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Tracing is absolutely fine if you just call it a homage or a meme. And the fact that animators and artists have been doing tracings for years and still have jobs, it must be fine then. Jump off a bridge. Everyone else is doing it. Hold up. What's that? What's that on the horizon? Is that a tweet from Vivienne herself? Hey guys, another life lesson. Don't use someone else's test materials to apply for an animation job. Holy fuck, angry face. Oh, well I guess that means that only she can do quote-unquote homages and tracings for memes. As long as it's in her benefit, she's fine with it. But if someone else does it, it's bad. Oh, did I forget to mention how she cannot take any criticism whatsoever? So Bad Webcomics Wiki has their own forum through Tapatalk. In this forum, there was a thread that was up by the name of Hazbin Hotel Redos. Some members of the forum decided to do a few redos and redraws of the main characters to see different interpretations of them. I need to remind everyone that this forum was made for fun. The user Sandalwich, who is actually Ms. ZZ, did a redesign of the character Velvet, who was leaked from VizzyPop's Patreon page. ZZ posted the redesign she did on the forums and on her Tumblr. Unfortunately, on her Tumblr caught the eye of Viv. She, of course, replied to this artwork with this message, and I quote, "Design is such a fun, subjective thing, because we can both be equally offended over how bad each other's designs are, and have people agree and disagree with both sides all at once. That's pretty cool. Love the subtle whitewashing of my character, though. Also, the sharing of leaked art, pretty rad. Winking cat face. I'd ask to maybe refrain in the future, though. For real, though, you can feel however you want with my designs, but your attitude with this is major yikes, dude. Also, you're exploiting leaked art. So, sidebar, it ain't healthy to be run by spite. Go outside, please, for the love of God, or watch something that doesn't offend your eyeballs. For real. Cool? Cool." I think I need to remind everybody that Vivienne is 27 when writing this post. Not 15, 27. A grown adult. Seriously, Viv, you are acting like a massive vagina. Who the fuck gets so offended when someone draws their own character in a different way? You know, she kept on passing out this advice of going outside and growing up. Seems like she really needs to take her own advice. Don't you think? Unfortunately, Hazbin Hotel took the route of showing shenanigans instead of fleshing out the world and characters within the 30 minutes that it decided to run with. Hazbin Hotel really felt like more for the fans than newcomers. This is a very impressive project to complete, but the flaws are extremely noticeable. I didn't even go over how the animation keyframes are way too quick at times, or how there's a lack of smear frames, which really should have been used better for movement throughout this animation. The sound effects kind of made the animation sound childish, and other controversies behind the scenes. I shouldn't need to watch music videos or read the comics for things that could have been referenced within the episode itself. This is why I think the plot would have been way better with a shorter runtime, and a more focused plot. When you go past the 11-minute mark, you're opening up the time to flesh out things. If you're not going to offer anything else, then it gets boring. And that's what I can sum up this whole pilot as.